This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, I am fine. I am fine. Doing fine. So please, it is not possible for mankind to be totally home, get restricted at home. But please use sanitizers and masks. The way it is going on, I think usage of mask can actually bring down the infections a lot. Okay, thanks. So let us start with the subject. So in the previous class, what we have learned is about moving averages, MACD mostly. Now in this class, we will learn about oscillators. Okay, oscillators means which give us idea about momentum or reversal in the market. We will learn about four oscillators: RSI, CCI, the stochastics, and the Williams percentage R. So the idea is when you use them in market, try to use only one of them. Okay, it is not required to actually follow four oscillators. And if you use four oscillators, what will they will do is that they will confuse you more than doing any positive input in your trading. So try to avoid usage of many indicators and try to stick to one or two, maximum two. Okay. Now, in the next class, we will learn about indicators that are like Bollinger Band, that are uh, like super trend, ATR, which will give us the idea about volatility. And that will be our last class on indicators. Okay, so today's class, what we will learn, we will use that in our next class also. So the idea is whatever we learn as a combination, how to use them, we will learn in our next class. So let us start our journey today. This is the Mahindra Mahindra daily chart. Okay, so I will start with the concept of RSI. Okay, so here I am going and inputting the RSI. RSI is called relative strength index, and it is generally measured on a 14-day period, as you can see. Now, if you want to change the time period, like if I want to change the time period, sorry, to 20, it becomes a little bit slow in response. You can see if you want to decrease the time period to be 7, maybe 40, it becomes much more sensitive. What I have in my experience seen that 14 period RSI is very good, and there is no need to go to alter this RSI, because either very slow or very fast sensitive response actually is not useful. So I am just sticking to the 14 period RSI here, and I will show you based on that. Just a second. Somehow it has hanged and not working, I think. Just a second, huh? Yeah, I see. If I need to restart my Chrome, I will do that. Just give me a moment. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Just bear with me for 2 minutes. Somehow it has stopped working. Just a minute. Yeah, so we are back. I'm sorry for the inconvenience of delay. 3-4 minutes it got delayed. Sorry for that. Now we will discuss about RSI. Now, any indicator or oscillator you have to understand is derived from the price itself. The price over time that decides the indicator. In some cases, volume. Here there is no volume. So the basic thing that you should understand is that the indicator like RSI, though sometimes it is called leading indicator, but any indicator is lagging in sense after the price is manifested, then the indicator indicates itself. So in my practical experience, I have found none of the indicator as leading. If there was any indicator which was leading, all people will be using that and all people would have been making money. Because suppose there is an indicator which tells me that now it is time to go long and now it is going to time to go short. And if there were at least 60 to 65% accuracy, I would be making money most of the time. But this doesn't happen. Ichimoku is not a leading is in some terms of a leading indicator, but we are not going to cover Ichimoku in this course. So don't want to discuss this because this we don't use a lot also. Okay. Anyways, now what we are right now discussing here is that this RSI. Now, generally, this is the most widely one of the after MACD obviously after MACD, RSI is the most widely used indicator or oscillator. I use RSI only as an oscillator, but that doesn't mean you will only use RSI. You may like stochastic, you may like CCI, that we will study right now. So look at this RSI. When RSI is sustaining above 50, is a good indicator that the up move that is undergoing that will continue. And the moment RSI dips back to 50 and then starts going up, these are the good zone to go long. You can see pulls back to around 50. Sometimes it dips to 45 also. So many people like to draw this band 45. And on the upper side, they draw it at 55. So when we are in an up move, we see that maximum it dips to 45, but the moment it again starts moving above 50, it is again an opportunity to buy this kind of move it have. Now, the moment it dips below uh, the 50 and starts sustaining, all these pullbacks are ideal level to actually short it. And obviously, we use all the concepts that we have learned to do this. Now, here with this two line, I can draw a trend line. The third time it comes near the trend line, sorry, trend line is like this, near the trend line, and then it starts going up. From here, it is a good buying zone, and you can see the kind of rally we had. Similarly goes for the downtrend. See from here, I can draw a line and then I can extend it. Now, what is happening in the third case? It is coming back, pulling back to this trend line, and RSI is pulling back to 50. So this was a good zone to short, and from 830 you can see it has come down to 778. Any stock I can take, maybe Tata Steel. Look at this, consistently staying above 50. Okay, so this is a, yeah, there have been a bit aberration at some point, but mostly from here to here you can see it is consistently staying above 50. So these stock we should always look to buy. Okay, add this, add this, add this, and expand. Now you will find these stocks we should always look to buy because their RSI is steadily sustaining above 50. Similarly, there are some stocks which have been weak. Let me go to Hero Motocorp, which has been a little bit bearish. Now you should understand every move is not similar. Okay, if you are talking about this move, this was a very steady up move with the help of trend line also and RSI also. You could play this big move. Now this move was with the help of RSI. It was not. It could not be defined that much. But here at point, it is not necessary that every time RSI would behave so orderly as it behaved. Here in this case, RSI did not behave so orderly. See, in this part, quite a strong breach of this 50 line, and then it went up. And after that, you could actually play the buying game, buy on dips game, when it was doing like this. Now here, see, look at the down move. It was a steady down move without any break. So RSI never pulled back to the 50 line. So you can understand with the help of RSI and trend line, you can only play those moves, and those are quite common in the market. The steadily have to being up move. Okay, but when there is a very steep down move or steep up move, let me show you a steep up move. Which stock? Maybe Tata Chemical had a very steep up move. Very steep up move. So here you will not get an opportunity to play with the RSI with the low risk opportunity where stocks pulls backs, and you get an opportunity when RSI near 50. See, you don't get much opportunity here. Once it start breaks from here, it moves up. Then when it comes pulls back, yeah, this is an opportunity you can utilize. But see, after that, this move from 527 to 800, there is no opportunity. So always remember, not only we look at the pullbacks, but if a stock is actually having a very strong up move, we may not get an opportunity, but we have to look at the structure of the RSI and take calls. If you remember, yesterday I gave you the polycap stock, right? If you remember, look at this. Why I did this? This was making it 50. This was like this, but overall structure of the RSI looked to me that RSI is emerging above this band of the range, and also I saw it was a range breakout above 1443, and I gave this trade. So this is how, not only looking at when there is a pullback only, you should also look at the structure of the stock. AstraZeneca, which I gave this week. Drawing 50 line in RSI. You see, when I gave the breakout, it had just emerged from here. So what I looked at is that price breakout. So this was there, and the gap up opened like here, okay, 3800. But from 3800 to around 4600, it went within 2 days, almost 20% rally. Okay, 17-18%. But the structure of the RSI is important. I know that every time I won't have this orderly behavior that pull back and I buy, get 4-5%, and again there is a pullback. There would be some cases when RSI would behave like this, when it falls and it will fall steeply. So rather than looking just at the RSI, let us look at few more examples. Okay, Jindal Steel and Power. See, this is a very important example. Before that, let me describe few things about RSI. RSI has a range of 0 to 100. It cannot go beyond 100. And 30 to 70 is the normal zone. Okay. Above 70 to 100, above 70 till 100, it is called overbought zone. And below 30 and above 0, it is called oversold zone. Generally, what happens when something goes into overbought zone, it corrects, and something goes into the oversold zone, it corrects. But always remember that something going into overbought zone is not an indication to immediately sell for a reversal trade. See, it went to overbought zone and it stayed in the overbought zone for quite some time. Now, 175 to 230, almost 35% rally happened. So if you had shorted here, just seeing it overbought zone, you would have been butchered, right? Look at this. Suppose you have shorted this stock here, and when the stock was going on, it entered the oversold zone the moment the price was around 125. Now, from 125, price came to 50 rupees and it started going up. So you can understand that anything, if you are telling anything from 125 to 50 rupees is more than 60% fall, right? So if you are just 60 or 60% fall, so if you are just based on something is overbought or something in oversold zone, you cannot short something. Okay, you cannot short something. Now this is a very orderly move. You can see this is a very orderly move. It is coming, giving you opportunity, buying opportunity at these levels, and you are buying. But now what it has emerged into is a kind of a momentum zone like this. See, 72 when the price was 216, and here again 70, the price is around 282, around 30% of rally. I think the moment it went above here, that is 354, and all of you remember that I gave buy signal around this point of time in this stock. Anyways, so I think this is a kind of a momentum rally that is happening, and I expect personally that it may go to 480 to 520 zone. Okay. Uh, I have tweeted this also. I have shared this uh, in your in your groups also. Okay, let me show you the Twitter. Net is very becoming very slow these days because a lot of people have started work from home due to this COVID, and that's why the network has become slow day by day. When these people work from office, there is pressure on office network. But now, as these people have started working from home, it becomes very difficult for the network to support all of us. And that's why while we work from home, the need would be really pathetic going forward. Okay, just a second. All this COVID related emergency post. Yeah. So this is what I showed in Jindal Steel. So you all have read about it. This is a kind of symmetrical triangle. It was there, and that got broken. And I expect 480 to 500, possibly on the upside. Okay, so you have to understand. So these zones where RSI is in the overbought zone and doing a run, these are also good levels to actually hold your trade for very sharp moves. So RSI in overbought zone is directly not buying. I generally don't I'm not able to play this part of the, so you should I should acknowledge that what part of the play I'm not able to play also. So this, when the downtrend is starting to the middle point, so this phase I'm really not able to play. Now, once it has dipped below this, let me make it more visible, little bit larger, you will understand. See, when it is having, though there was a bearish engulfing, all this thing, and some people would claim that they are able to play this looking at the bearish engulfing and the dropped in this part. When RSI is dropping to mid, I'm really not able to play. First, because the stock is already in an uptrend and still in an uptrend. So I am a very trend following person. I never is able to play against the trend. So though this is a lucrative uh 7-8% fall, I'm not able to play this. But okay, when it goes back to this, I may take a buy trade 202 to 225. I will play this. But then this time it breaks. This break is also again I'm possibly not able to play. Okay. Uh, this break I will let you go. But now see what happens. Uh, Price pull back to this resistance line. RSI pullbacks to 50. This short I am able to do because right now there is has been a established downtrend, lower high, lower low. Okay. Now this part of the move I will play. This part of the move I will play, but I personally is not able to play the counter moves, and I'm not bothered about it. See, my goal is to increase my success rate in the way I approach the market. Okay. Now here with this, what I can see is that there is a kind of trend line I can draw. Okay. Now see, when it pulls back to this level, RSI is 50. I'm happily able to buy this. Okay. Here again I will buy, but it would hit my stop loss. But the moment it goes above it and starts staying above it, maybe I will participate in this rally. Maybe I am not able to participate here, but when this line is broken and price is staying above this, I will definitely go into it, looking at the price action behavior of the RSI. So RSI just being above 50 is not enough. You should understand, like, see, this I gain from my experience, and you have to also gain from your experience, like looking at the RSI and looking at various aspects of the chart. Like this was the earlier resistance, I can see price continuously staying above it, and RSI is nearing the top and more bullish. So you can buy here, and 3092 it goes to 345. So you have to understand the pattern in which a trade is happening, not just mechanically going above it. I always respect these horizontal levels a lot. See, uh, when I have bought here, it had gone to 337 from 311. It is enough for me to book profit. And once it, after that, I see this kind of consolidation happening. Now a breakout happens. I enter in the breakout day and it consistently stays above this 333, and on the upside it goes to 350. So in this 333 to 350 I will book enough profit. Okay, so you have to understand how a person is trying to play the market. Now what happens? Price pulls back, because now you are not only looking at RSI but everything as a unison. Okay, now you can see it is staying above this 45. Okay, uh, the previous support it has come and taking support, so I will try to buy here and buy here with a stop loss, and see if I buy at 311 330, many times I am getting, I will be out. Possibly uh, one or two times I can get stopped out also on the downside. But this moment, this up move, this level is breach, I'm again into the trade and riding along. My approach is like this. Might be I have been out somewhere here, getting along here, somewhere here, and I can see there is a range developing. The moment this range is broken out, I gave a buy trade here, and now from uh, 428 it went to 446, enough for me to 7 8 5 6% to book profit. So you understand the approach I am taking. Okay, now what it can do, it can create again one or two kind of a candle, and towards the lower upper end of this range I will try to have an entry. Just a second, with a very small stop loss here, and 426 427. If I get an entry there with maybe a stop loss below 450, the moment it again starts going up and 426 to 450 above, I will be quite happy to book some part of the profit and trail. So trading is a continuous game, and you look at a indicator RSI along the price action and the horizontal levels that is available in the chart. You just many people ask, sir, RSI at a 50, should I buy? It is not like that. You look at overall price action of the chart to understand how the indicator is behaving in context of the price action of the chart. Then you can take a trade. Okay. The same goes for a down move also. See, these moves are very unique. Like from 120, 135, 125, you and it continues till you reach a level of 57, 58. So let us look at this down move. This was a normal down move. Last year's March was a free fall. Okay. See, it breaks below. The initial part I am never able to trade. Okay. Now it is sustaining below 50. It pulls back to resistance level, and this has been a resistance level and the 412. So what I do a horizontal line here. Okay. Now I sell here, and it once it dips and then again it pull back, I can put some profit or add new entry here, and then it falls again. It comes here near the trend line. I may enter a fresh entry. This doesn't work out and price moves a little bit on the upside, and then we can see the kind of up move we are having. So are all of we clear that how along with the trend line, along with the horizontal lines, I can use RSI as a decision making tool to do multiple entry and exits in a steady move, in a very strong move? I have to play for the breakout and breakdown and hold the trade the way I said, 5 period high EMA and low EMA. The concept I taught in last class. Let me add. Moving average exponential. So using this also I can see when market is steadily closing below this and RSI is 1 unit addition, I can hold my trade for long, right? When price is closing above this and RSI is never coming back to 50, I can hold my trade in this phase. So along with the concepts that we have already learned, I'm using RSI. See, RSI is moving here and price is consistently closing above this 5 period high, and I will hold on to the trade. So overall concept is clear to all of you, the concept of RSI. Is it clear? So all of you have a good uh, health strong. No, sorry, each stock doesn't have its own RSI support level. 50 is the support level for 50 to 45 is the support level for any stock for long trades, and for any stock on the downside, uh, I would say 50 to 55. So this is the resistance zone. Avinash Pitriji. So now we will, so this is my most favorite indicator, and now we will learn about the CCI. CCI is an indicator which is generally used on a 20 period. Okay, let me also complete one more thing of RSI, which I did not actually complete. Just a second. Okay. See, first let me show you RSI divergence, and then I will show you RSI hidden divergence. Okay. This is also important. So, Bajaj Auto. See, this is the sign of a RSI divergence. Why? Price making new high, new low. Now look at the indicator. Can you see a divergence between RSI and the price? This is called bullish divergence. Okay. So now what happens is that the moment RSI breaks above 50 after this divergence, and possibly price will also break above this zone, these are generally good opportunities to buy trade. The bullish divergence. Okay. These are called bullish divergence. Generally, they are in sync. See, price going up, RSI going up, price going down, RSI going down. But whenever this divergence comes, many divergence fail also. Like price may fail from here. So until and unless there is a price breakout and RSI breakout above 50, we don't take the trade. So divergence doesn't necessarily mean that you immediately take the trade. It can continue to have divergence for even longer, and at some point of time it will turn. So please remember that you don't jump into a trade. You trade only when there is a confirmation by price breakout and RSI breakout. Okay. Now let me show you what is hidden divergence. And similarly for the bearish move. Let me see if I can get a bearish move here. Yes, I can get a bearish move here. See, making a higher high, RSI, making a RSI making a lower low, price making a higher high. Then what happens? Price breaks below this down and RSI breaks below 50. So these are the points you could short from 2993 to 5% kind of fall you had, 4 to 5% kind of. So always only after RSI breaks below 50 and price breaks a support level, then you enter the trade. This is called the bearish divergence and this is called the bullish divergence. So divergence is clear to all of you. Normal divergence, normal bullish, normal bearish. Chart pattern works with everything. Okay. Now I will go to the hidden divergence. Okay. Jindal Steel. Now see, this is the hidden divergence that I was mentioning to. Look at this. Price moving higher, indicator moving lower. A perfect hidden divergence. Just opposite. This is bullish. The moment the and hidden divergence are very powerful. When you find that hidden divergence, generally you will see that price become bullish again. So price is not getting bearish, but RSI had suddenly become bearish. It is not from the high side we are looking. We are looking at from the low side. In the normal divergence, we were looking from the high side. Here we are looking from the low side of the RSI. See, RSI is making a lower low. If I find that the moment there is a price breakout above the swing high and RSI also start going up, generally we will find a strong bullish move emerging like it had. Similarly, would be the bearish case when RSI would be having a lower high, but the price would be having a lower high, but RSI would be having a higher high. If I find a bearish hidden divergence, I will show. But this is the perfect bullish hidden divergence. RSI getting lower and the price not making lower low. Clear all of you about this? All of you clear? Okay, fine. So let us have a 5-minute break and let us join at and 2:20 2:21 kind of time, and then we will start again. Okay. RSI is over. Now we will learn about CCI. Thank you. Yeah, let us start again. Hi, everybody. We are back. Now we will move to CCI. Okay. Commodity channel index. Nothing related to commodity itself, because this was first initial phases when it was discovered, used by commodity traders and used in the commodity market a lot. So they gave a name of commodity channel index, but this is used for many or all the things. See, the only use, or let me define it. Like RSI has the range of 0 to 100. This doesn't have a defined range. Okay. On the positive side, it can go towards plus 200, plus 300 in extreme cases. And on the negative side, it can go towards minus 200, minus 300 in the extreme cases. Now, normal zone is minus 100 to plus 100. And we should draw a line at 0 to show the middle line, 0.001. It doesn't take 0 exactly. So 0.001. Now, I dislike this indicator for a reason, because even though there is a uptrend or a downtrend, it will vigorously pull back below the uh, oversold zone and then it rise. But RSI is much more steady. You can see RSI consistently above 50, giving me an idea about the uptrend. So this is one weakness of this indicator. Okay, I would say it weakness only because at times this gives a false sense of breakdown if you look only at the indicator itself. Now, the when it is useful is, suppose you have gone in a long trade, price is consistently closing above this 5 period high EMA, you want to hold the position. If you see that RSI, that CCI consistently trading above this overbought zone, this is only you can show, you can give you a clear idea that price is moving higher. Okay, like here, price is moving higher and consistently CCI is staying above plus 100 level. All the divergence, you will find many divergence, but not very reliable divergences here in this indicator. So for that purpose, it is not a very great indicator in my mind. What happens is that when price moves up, it moves from negative zone, then crosses minus 100, then 0 and go to plus 100, and then it falls back from plus above plus 100 to 0, then crosses minus 100 and goes 0. But very strong extreme movement, even though this was a steady up move, you can see the kind of intermediate moves it is having, and that's make it a very difficult index to trade, though a lot of people like use them for this, because when it is having this kind of up move, it gives a good sense without CCI touching back the 0 line, it stays above it and they use it. But for me, RSI is also for such move gives similar idea, so I'm not very much bothered about that. No, it is not low beta stock. Any low beta stock you can take. ITC I am taking as a low beta stock. Uh, you can see the similar uncertainties there. When there is a little bit of pullback, it enters the zone of oversold. So a bit confusing for me. Compared to that, if you put RSI, you would find that RSI is broadly above 50 and gives a much more clarity about this. Now, the thing is that when there would be a downtrend, RSI would actually go below 50 and stay there. That gives me an idea. But how do you differentiate that when it is entering oversold zone in a CCI? Is it temporary thing or it is for a bigger down move? And that is where the confusion arises, and that is where I actually avoid the CCI a bit. So overall, not a very favorite indicator of mine, but still a lot of people use it. And if someone of you can find a better use of it, that's why I showed you. So CCI is correct, understood correctly for all of you. Okay. Now let me show you another important thing in the case of RSI, and I will show you a different thing. Okay, what I am doing is that the same chart, one is in hourly, one is in daily. Okay. Now, for now we know that it is in a downtrend. Okay, RSI is steadily staying below 50. All the indicators that we are studying today are momentum indicators. Sir. So for a trader like you who would be intraday kind of a trader, see, this is the phase when RSI in daily chart has gone below 100. Okay, below 50, and or right now it is there. But if you are an intraday trader looking for short-term selling opportunity, how will you trade it? Now, I don't move to hourly chart a lot. That doesn't mean that you won't also use. I'm teaching you how to use it. See, the same chart in two different time frame. One is the hourly and in daily. Okay. Now, the moment it pulls back and tops out above around this level of RSI tops out, you can sell for an intraday trade or a very short term trade, maybe selling today, buying tomorrow. So see, you can even with the with the ITC kind of stock also it works very well, isn't it? Let me show a different Reliance, which is not as low beta as now Reliance. You can see is in a steady downtrend. Okay, steady downtrend. Now, how do you take the shorter term trades? Let me go to the same Reliance in hourly chart. See, with the help of this, you get many good intraday trades. 191 to 8096, 1% down move, shorting here, which was around 1943 in the day 1929. Okay, so this is falling, but in the shorter time frame chart, you see you get many trading opportunities like this. Many trading opportunities like this when it is pulling back and then falling below this 50, when it is pulling back to 55 and falling again, falling below 50. So this is nothing but a multi time frame analysis. You could do this in hourly versus 15-minute chart also. So Reliance hourly, the first chart, if you are an even short term player like Reliance, sorry, Reliance, this chart I'm taking to hourly. Okay, now in the hourly chart it is downtrend, and taking this chart to 15-minute. You can see that how good opportunities based on the 15-minute chart the moment it is breaking below 1906 1877. Here also the moment it broke below this 903 from 1895, so even smaller, half a percent kind of move, some cases bigger move. So the idea is this is multi-time frame analysis. I generally don't like to go to hourly and 15-minute kind of a setup, but obviously you can explore if you are a very intraday and short-termish player. But obviously, daily to hourly, these two kind of are the same chart. Maybe a different stock, Tata Steel. This is also Tata Steel. Hourly chart of Tata Steel consistently staying above 50. Now, see, these are the opportunities. The moment it is staying above 50, these are the levels you can buy. Now, it had pulled back to this level, 19 to 1940. So with the high beta stock, this is very good. Okay. Again, pull back to this level. This did not work out, though at times things would fail, or definitely at times things would fail. See this kind of moves when it is steadily above and you can play this kind of moves. So this is called multi-time frame analysis for this kind of a down move which had. You can see here you could short, right? When it pulled back here you could short and see from that short what kind of market actually you got, what kind of fall. Here you could short 877, you got 851. With a high beta stock, it is more pronounced. So even with a high beta stock, even this hourly 15-minute setup works. So this is called multi-time frame analysis. Clear, everybody? Multi-time frame analysis, all of you. The same indicator in two different time frame, you can use that to take buying and selling decision. So I want more yes. Only two or three people have said yes. I want to know that if everyone has understood. Everyone has understood and enjoying the concepts. Just asking, because whatever you are learning, if you are enthusiastic about this, then only you will be able to apply this.
Sudeep.
Great. So now we will Pramodji, RSI I cannot repeat again because RSI I have described over 1 hour. Okay, so it is not possible to repeat the entire RSI thing once again. You have to rewatch the video. Yeah, I did split screen using this. If you don't understand, even after rewatching, you can ask in the group. I will answer. So many ways you can split the screen. You can split the screen like this. You can split the screen like this. Now I am going back to the single screen. Okay. Now I will introduce a very important oscillator, which I liked quite a lot. Okay. VKC is asking, cannot we add zero horizontal line for my all stocks? No, it is not allowing like that. Every time I have to put circle. Okay. I think apply default. I tried to apply. Let me see if I go to a different stock. Will it take? No, it is not clicking. Let me try once more. Now let me go to different stocks. Mhm. It is not saving, sir. Every time you have to insert it. Avinash Vitriji is asking, sir, can we do multi-time frame trend for MA, MACD and support resistance? So for support resistance, the multi-time frame doesn't make any sense because those are horizontal levels. So they are as well as valid in any time frame, okay? But with indicators like MA, MACD, you can do multi-time frames. Huh? But support resistance levels are same for whatever time frame you. Okay. Now I am going to a very important indicator, which is stochastic. Now look at this. This is 1433. Okay. Uh, and I'm hiding the RSI for some point of time. Now this is called fast stochastic. Let me add another stochastic. Now instead of 1433, many people use this 1431 or 1413 in some cases. Rather 1431. Okay. Now you can see the upper one is quite smooth and the lower one is cranky, a little bit cranky, gives their sharp edges. So what happens is this is the smoothing factor added to this 1433. When we add the smoothing factors of 3 instead of 1, it becomes slow stochastic, and most of us will use slow stochastic only. Okay. So in some chart uh, packages, you will find 1431, you will find 733. So I'm not going into details how stochastic is formed because that is not the purpose of the class. We need to understand how we can use them. Okay. So these are the inputs. So whatever input defaults come in whatever package you are using, make this 1433. This is the slow stochastic. This is a very beautiful indicator. And I had there been no RSI, I would have loved to use this. See, let me look at any daily chart, Adani, or instead of Adani, what can I use? Maybe Cipla, daily chart Cipla. 14.33. Now see, when there is an up move that will emerge, and if there is a crossover, this blue line is called percentage K line, and this red line is called percentage D line. The red line is nothing but 3-period moving average of the blue line. Okay. The blue line is called the stochastic line, and the red line is called the signal line. The blue line is called percentage K, red line is percentage D. Now, when the blue line crosses above the red line in the oversold zone, the normal zone is 20 to 80. 80 to 100 is overbought zone, and uh, 0 to 20 is the oversold zone. Now if you find that there is a crossover happening, and after the crossover, if price moves into the normal zone, let me enlarge it a little bit, you will be able to understand better. A crossover happening in the oversold zone, and then both the lines are entering normal zone and moving up, then that generally results into an up move if there is no crisscross in between. Here also this is happening, you see, but there were many crisscross in between happening, so the up move did not. So see, directly just crossover is not the buying signal. You should understand, here you entered the trade and the trade were flattish initially, but you was not seeing any crisscross, so you remain with the trade and that became rewarding afterwards. Here when you enter the trade, you can see many crisscrosses happening. Price is not going down, price is going down much later, but you can see many crisscrosses happening in between. Twice crisscrosses happened. So after you enter the trade here, you exit it here, you don't carry on the trade. Similarly, when this crossover happened, the blue line crossed the red line in this candle, you could see the trade, you could enter the trade and you could see, able to see that there were no crisscrosses happening. So see, quite a bit of fall, 841 to 797, 5% fall. You could enjoy it if you were following this. But whenever there will be crisscrosses, understand, there is a negative crossover, but you can see a multiple crisscrosses happening here. You exit the trade with minor loss. So understanding and following the indicator is very important. Sometimes what happens is that this crossover happens within this range. I generally see here it worked, but many a times it won't work. I generally don't give much importance when these crossovers are happening within this range. Okay, but these crossover happening outside the range are good. Sometimes there would be little bit of a sense of crisscross, and we might have exited earlier also. That is bad luck. You cannot do anything. At some of the moments, you will be able, like some of the trades will be like that you won't be able to take advantage of it. Like this cross happening, no crisscross, a good bit of up move. See this crossover happening, good bit of. So here also we generally draw the 50 line as a middle line. And see this fall when the crossover happened. If you had entered this trade and after that it entered, so after entering in the normal zone, you might have entered here, but still there was a goodish bit of down move, 595 to 567. In the live market, you take the crossover at the end of the candle, sir. If your daily chart at the end of the daily candle, if suppose you are looking at the hourly chart, let me go to the hourly chart also. It works very well in the hourly chart also. Very nice indicator. Okay, look at this. A crisscross happened, and after that, price entered into the normal zone. You go long here, and till this point, if you are trading on an hourly chart, 760 to 784, what more do you want in a stock like this? So these are the reversal trades which you can take with the help of. Here there was a crisscross and it entered the zone from 917 to 877. Quite a bit of move. So these are the reversal trades. earlier in the RSI, we were more interested in the continuation trade. So I would like you to use this for reversal trades, this stochastic, and for continuation trade or like it is bullish on the pullback trades in the direction. I would like you to use RSI. See, when it happens that enters the overbought zone and stays mostly in the overbought zone, price continues to go higher. Okay, but this kind of trades you cannot enter with the help of a CCI or a stochastic. Stochastic is good for reversal trades. CCI is I don't. It is not a favorite of mine. I won't comment on it. But RSI is much useful for trades like this. Trade like this. For this kind of trade, stochastic is less reliable. So you can use a combination of RSI and CCI in the chart. Let me show you. And that's why I had kept the RSI here. Let me draw a 50 also. So see, for the reversal trades like this, I can use the stochastic like this. And for the pullback, like from entering here, and for the pullback trades, I can use the RSI here. So for the reversal trades, again, this one. For the reversal trade, you take the CCI route, but for again buying, you use the RSI. Isn't it a very good combination, RSI and CCI? What do you think, guys? Is it clear? I'm asking you. RSI and stochastic. Yeah, this is a very good combination. Is it clear? Okay. Let me teach you right now the William percentage R indicator. Okay. With a suggestion that don't use it. Because it is same as stochastic. Okay. Only it will create confusion. Look at this. Same as stochastic. Same as stochastic, only having one line. Not very convinced because my main usage of stochastic is the crossover and then entering into the normal zone. Here there is no sign of crossover. Otherwise, it is just like stochastic. This fall, this goes up, this goes up. So can we avoid William percentage R and rather focus on stochastic? Avoiding William percentage R. I will teach you only one more indicator right now. Okay. Do you want a 5-minute break or should I complete? Whatever is your choice. Do you want a break or should I complete? Continue? Okay.
వీలైతే పంపించు.
Okay. Let me continue. And hiding both the indicators, I don't need them. See, this is the indicator. I will go to it differently. Look at this, plus DI, to understand better, I am making it green. Okay. Minus DI, I am making it red. And ADX, which is a combination of both, I am making it green and thickening the line. Clear? Plus DI the green line, minus DI the red line, and ADX is the main line. This part is clear, all of you? Huh? Okay. Now what I will do is that I will hide this ADX line. Okay. First look at this plus DI and minus DI. I'm drawing a line at 25. See, when a stock will be entering an up move, plus DI will cross minus DI, and during the up move it will be continuously trading above 25. Similarly, when there would be a down move, minus DI would cross this 25 line, cross this plus DI and be on 25. When there would be no direction, both will languish generally below 25. These are the region we won't generally trade. We will like to trade when it is happening like this. This is moving like this. We will trade when minus DI above this and trading like this. Clear, all of you? This part is clear? Great. So these are the trade initiator. When you see that minus DI crossing this line, maybe here you initiate the trade when the range is also being broken. Minus DI is red line, sir. I made the color change so that you can understand. Minus DI is red line. Minus, when you see the candles, the green is for rise. So when minus DI is crossing and price is also making some range, this range, you can enter the short trades. Okay. Similarly, when the reverse is happening, a price is breaking a range on the upside, and you can enter the long trade. See, everything comes into picture together. This moving averages, price breaking above the range, this happening. These are the signs of positive move. Now, let me introduce ADX right now. देखिए, when ADX is above 25, then there is momentum into the market. It doesn't mean ke upward or downward. Even in downward momentum, ADX is above 25. In an upward momentum, above 25. We generally don't take a trade when ADX is below 25. बड़ा slow move होता है. But the moment ADX crosses over 25, we can short here. And we will, this part of the move will be very steep. Intraday, those people who trade intraday, for them the momentum is very important, because if it remains in a range and next day in gap down it falls, but an intraday trader doesn't have any benefit. Let me take any stock, Axis Bank or ICICI Bank. Beautiful stock, ICICI and Axis, both of them, in terms of understanding market. My most favorite stocks are this Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, this Tata Steel, Tata Motors. Very nice stock. Now see, if you are looking at an hourly chart and you are looking to sell, the moment you see this part that ADX is above 25 in the hourly chart, this can be very good sell region. But even if there is a negative, you don't sell this region because ADX is below 25. See, all these are range bound, rise and fall, you don't trade. But the moment ADX goes above this, you sell here, very sharp profit. And in the pullback also, very sharp profit because the ADX was above 25. Now you neither short nor go long because ADX is below 25. Okay. So the ideal condition to go long is when plus DI is above minus DI and about 25 and ADX is about 25. Blind long these levels because this is above this and ADX is about 25. Blind long and you can hold this trade. Blind long, blind short actually. See this falls the moment ADX crosses 25. So this gives you qualified if you are only trying to make money in the momentum trades. This gives you a great idea about the market. But please understand, don't use RSI also, ADX also, don't use stochastic also. What it will create is it will create a lot of confusion. Use maximum 2 oscillators. I have taught you 4, 5. Out of them, any 2 you use, but not 3 or more than 3. Only 2. Only and MACD also I have taught. So out of MACD, RSI, CCI, stochastic, William percentage, ADX. Use only 2. Lesser the better. बोलते हैं ना छोटा परिवार सुखी परिवार. Similarly, like that, if you have less number of indicators in the chart, it will be good for you to make decision in the live market. Which two work best for you? For me, I am a very minimalistic person, so I don't use anything except RSI. But yeah, if you ask me, I would have used, I like if in my preference level, along with RSI, I may use this ADX and ADX or stochastic. Both are very good, looks very good to me, ADX and stochastic. So if I want to use two, RSI would be one and another would be ADX or stochastic based on your understanding. But see, I am not God and I am not the kind of person you are. You are a different person than me. Like, see, same ball, Birendra Sehwag and Rahul Dravid would treat them very differently. Okay, same ball, Cheteshwar Pujara and Rishabh Pant will treat very differently. And both methods are correct as long as they succeed. So don't go that Shodadeep sir uses this and I will use this. This is the wrong way to approach it. In the beginning, for 3, 4 months, experiment with all the 6 that I have taught you, and whichever comes the best, you use that. Sir, which combination is better in terms of intraday or monthly? I cannot say. It depends on the move. But obviously, ADX is an DMI or is an indicator which you can primarily use for intraday sharp movement. Others are good in all time frame. Ramakrishna Raju sir. So clear all of you about these indicators? How was today's class? Crisp, but got all the important knowledge, isn't it? Okay. So your task would be finding, observing market with the use of all these indicators. Thank you all of you. So market and try to uh, predict the market going forward based on the indicators. So in the very first 2 weeks, you use 6 indicators at 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 the same time. Try to understand that which one works better. But remember this is a thumb rule. Never ever in your final setup, once you get confident that which one works for you, you will be using more than 2. For first couple of weeks to understand that how price is behaving with all the indicators, you put all 6, but finally you have to drop down to 2. Make sure, otherwise you will get more confused than getting a confident trading signal. Correct? Understood this part, that you won't be using more than 2 at the end of your judging that which one is better for you. Yeah, that's important. Don't fall in love of excess. See, excess is मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि ज्यादा शहद डालोगे तो ज्यादा मीठा हो जाएगा, ठीक है? In any sweet, even more of sweetness is doesn't help at some point of time. So use only 2 finally, but for first 2 weeks you can try with many of them. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks to all of you. You can actually so we can meet next week. Next week we will learn about Bollinger Band and we will learn about the market. Tricks I don't want to give you, sir. There are 10,000 indicator. I once used tricks, but tricks I don't use right now. I have forgotten the usage also. Don't need more than that, sir. What I have given you is enough. Sir, all these indicator work in commodity, equity, index, currency, bonds, everything. Thank you. चलिए, stay safe in COVID environment and we will meet on next Sunday, next Saturday. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.